It's that time of year again when we turn the calendars over to 2026 and talk about the new year. It feels like we were just here talking about New Year's resolutions last year on the Limitless Leadership Lounge. This year, we're going to do something just a little bit different. I'm John Gehring, joined by Coach Jim Johnson and Dr. Renuma Kareem. Renuma came up with this concept. I think it's so valuable. What was this, Renuma? Tell us about this whole stop, start, continue thing.
I saw this fun group activity while I was researching for the team assignments and stuff like that. That it's the traffic light signal. So your life's traffic light, and often I realize that we need to audit our life. We do our auditing for our organization, companies, but rarely we do that audit for our life. Like, what do we need to start? What do we need to stop, and what do we need to continue? And when we are doing the audit, the report tells us that. So tomorrow I'm having a board meeting, and there we will go through the audit report, and we will focus on what we need to continue, what works for us, what is not working for us, taking our energy or taking the money out of our organization, and what do we need to start doing to add value to our life. So that is the whole idea of the traffic signal concept.
And so, how about you, Renu? So let's do this activity. Why not? It's the new year.
Yeah,
I think we
we
should
can
all do it. And then you
do that.
also listening, do it right along with us. Think of some things, maybe write them down. You can put it. I'm gonna put mine up on my desk back here as a visual
With the
reminder.
traffic light, you can put
Yes,
like a red light, yellow light, and green.
get your crayons out, get your colored pencils out, and let's do this. And so you do it along with us. But Renuma, let's start with stop. What you're gonna stop this year, and what you look to continue.
One thing I have to stop is focusing on the junk happiness. So I heard this term, and I realized that we are so much involved in the junk happiness. One of the junk happiness is the doom scrolling. So when like, oh, this is interesting. And next, what is that? And then I found out last evening that I wasted 30 minutes from my precious life when I had so many things to do, just doom scrolling. And I just threw my phone and said that, what am I doing? So I think we need to identify the junk happiness. Not only that, but junk happiness is also when we are immediately taking food that gives us immediate happiness, like junk food. That is one thing. Another, like whatever is not conducive to our health and mind, that really create anxiousness are junk happiness. So consciously, I have to remove these junk happiness from my life.
And then
And
continuing.
anything, yeah,
Yeah, so then
yeah.
explain this concept also of what you want to continue.
One thing I would like to continue is continue with my connection with my friends, giving time to my friends. Every morning when I came to Bangladesh, also we friends have like this in the morning breakfast meet. So every weekend, because they also have the time, we meet in the morning meeting, and also whenever a friend is doing something, my friend is having a exhibition, a photo exhibition or art exhibition, supporting each other no matter where what my time is. uh, we are a friend circle. We often fun, we will like sacrifice other things to be at our friends event. So I think that is like we are collecting wealth of friendship, and that lasts for a long time. So we would like to continue, no matter what the life demands, like continuing to spend time with our friends who help us to grow and thrive. I think that is one thing I really focus on. And here I want to just remind everybody, there is like Arthur Brooks. He talked about uh, four major things in life, like friends, faith, family, uh, and your occupation. Like, do you love what you're doing? So these are four things that you need to emphasize. And among that, continuing to give time to my friends. I think that is one thing I will be continuing.
That's great. Coach, how about you?
Well, the stop, and it's funny because I do take my health pretty seriously, but one thing I do have a real weakness is what we call my sweet tooth. So one of the things I'm going to stop, and I guess I'm going to have a caveat with that stop is I'm not going to go completely cold turkey. I got to be frank with myself, but I eat dessert pretty much every night of something, whether it's a cookie or ice cream or so. So my initial stop is I'm going to cut out 2 days a week to start. So it's kind of a stop start starting in 2026, where I'm going to cut 2 days out where I don't have any sweets and see how my body reacts. And hopefully I can continue to grow from that. My continue is something that I've been doing for the last few years, and we've mentioned it before, but it's something that I really enjoy doing, and I think it's a real positive, and that is sending personal videos. I've done that every day for multiple years now. It's a morning part of my morning routine, and I send out at least one and often up to 7 or 8. And they're short videos on things like somebody's birthday uh, or a check-in or a congratulations, or it could be multiple things. And one that I want to start doing a little bit more is the actually reaching out and asking how you're doing and is there anything I can pray for you. So from a faith standpoint, but so that's something, and I encourage people. We got this idea a while ago, and I've really have taken it and really ran with it. Is I encourage people because that when we learned that lesson from a former podcast guest, he said, videos have become very big. But how often do you get a personal video? And it really struck me because I rarely ever get a personal video. And something that's now become kind of part of me is that, hey, he's the guy that sends out those personal videos. And I like doing it. And I think it's a
Right.
powerful thing. So if that's an idea you want to try,
I
I found it to be really good. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would like to jump in because Coach reminded me when he was talking about snacking. He reminded me that I take like 2 spoons of sugar in my coffee and tea. So I need to stop doing that. So I will follow Coach's path.
There we go. We got it. And then now we just need accountability, right? We'll hold each other accountable here. When it comes to stopping and continuing, this is such a powerful piece of this exercise because a lot of us in the new year talk about New Year's resolutions. So what are we gonna start? But what about what we're gonna stop? And so that's part of the reason why I love this traffic light analogy is because there's so many habits that we have that cutting out could be even more beneficial than adding a new habit. So I'm going to say for my stop, it's going to be stop seeking validation. I do a
Mm,
lot of seeking validation. And so many of us do who suffer from imposter syndrome, right? Especially in
Right.
entrepreneurship. It's like, am I really good enough? Can you just tell me that I'm really good enough? And we look for ways subtly to do that. And I find that in my life in 2025, a lot of what I'm doing is, well, if I put this post out and I get enough likes, now I'm going to be validated and be able to think of myself as really legitimate or whatever the case is. Stop seeking validation. You should already be validated. So that's going to be my stop. And my continue is going to be continue moving. One thing, and because you got to analyze the successes and the failures, right? And one thing I would consider a success in 2025 is my physical well-being. I mean, I do have a sweet tooth like coach too, so certainly there some work could be done there. But with moving, and this is kind of a double meaning, literal and figurative. When I say continue moving, keep moving, I mean it literally in the sense that I've been doing a good job taking care of my body physically, moving my body every single day in a way that challenges it, that raises the heart rate, that does those things that we all know are so important for a longer and healthier life. But I also mean it figuratively too, because keep moving, continue moving. It's just a phrase that I've embraced that's so simple yet profound is that whether it's in business or in life in general, when you're going through a dry season or a harder time, just continuing to put one foot in front of the other is such a strong image that we can give ourselves and remind ourselves that it's not always going to look pretty, but if we just keep pressing forward, we will eventually get to the other side of that struggle. So again, my stop is seeking validation. My continue is moving, both literally and figuratively. So now let's dive into the start, because this is what we love to do in the new year is we love to make these promises to ourselves, right? So a little wrinkle here. Let's start with Renuma. What are you going to start in 2026? And then, because this is what a lot of people are missing, I feel like with New Year's resolutions, what is your action plan to get it going?
So important. After I came back to Bangladesh, I found out that because of the fast pace of our life for last few years, we have become very distant from our extended family members, the cousins, aunts, uncles. So everybody is there in their own bubble. Only when people are dying or they're sick or something like that, those are the time we are meeting. And I think that is where we are missing that collectivity. Our culture was like with all the relatives and everything, and now we are also becoming like an individualistic society.
Mm.
So I am intentionally reconnecting with my family members, with aunts, uncle, cousins, and I'm planning to organize big family picnic this December, so that all the like we don't I don't even know so many of my cousin kids' name nowadays. So I mess up with the names and I realize like, oh my, and we need our family, and that is part of a mental health and well-being. That you are part of something, you are there beside them, and our the children they need this connectivity, because you often see that when we grew up we used to share things with our cousins and friends. So all these things, cousins were the first people who with whom we used to share our problems. But now hardly young people in Bangladesh, I don't know about America, but in Bangladesh they do not talk to their cousins, and they're not that connected anymore. So I think that will be one thing that I will start reconnecting with all my family members and make an effort to give time, invite them, plan something with them, go to their houses, just dropping, giving them a scare. So, all these things in my plan for next year.
Very good. How about you, Coach?
So, well, I've been doing as we get the end of the year, we're moving into 2026. I've been doing an audit on my business, and the one void I have a lady I work with is we have not done a very good job of lead generation. So I've done some real research, and I have two candidates. We're in the process of interviewing them, and what I'm going to start is I'm going to hire someone to help us with lead generation for our speaking. It's avoiding our business, and I've been saying it for about the last year and a half. And so this is something that's going to get done. We're going to hire, and hopefully that will enhance our business. I strongly believe it will, because my manager Kate and I are good at connecting with people, but getting those starts with the lead generation, I think will help us immensely. So that's what I'm going to be definitely starting in 2026.
Right. And for me, it's all about the morning, because the morning is how you start your day. And I've never thought of myself as not being a morning person. I'm not a guy who sleeps in until 9 o'clock and doesn't really get his day going until 12 o'clock, but there's still room for improvement, right? And I still think I could get up earlier. And that is one thing where high achievers do get up early. And it's one thing I've kind of avoided my whole life. It's like, well, yeah, they do, but there's right. It's kind of like, no, it's hard. It's no fun. But how about starting your morning? And I'm not even talking about getting up at 5 a.m. every morning. But what I want to start this year is starting my mornings the same way and the right way. So part of this is stopping scrolling, like Renuma said before, because that's so easy to do. You're in bed, you get up, and you're kind of like moping around a little bit starting the day. So it's easy to just start scrolling. And then before you know it, well, there goes 15 minutes right off the bat. So what I want to do is three keys to a better morning routine. Number one is spirituality, is reading a little bit of my Bible or praying or a combination of both every single morning, because I don't do that anywhere near every single morning. Spirituality isn't just for Sundays, right? But unfortunately for me, it has become that way. The second is getting outside. There is real power in getting outside in bare feet on your front yard. I know it sounds crazy, but there is real power in that. So starting that in the morning routine, and then finally nutrition and some sort of movement. It's so easy for any of us because we're running late or whatever to just skip breakfast or choke down a banana real quick. I'm talking about real nutrition in the morning and some sort of movement. Doesn't have to be a workout. I usually work out best later in the day anyway, but it does have to be some sort of movement, even if it's just 5 minutes of jumping jacks or a walk or some push ups or whatever it is. That's how I want to start my mornings in 2026. And I think that everything really is a result of how powerful your mornings are. And so transforming the morning could transform your year. So that's what I'm going to start. So, any final thoughts from the two of you as we turn the calendar over to 2026?
Yeah, I want to tell you, John, that grounding. I think you're talking about grounding, and that is scientifically it's said that it is really good for your health, like connecting to the earth and the body. There is this energy that goes to our body in the morning, and the sunlight is also like very much opening your blood cells and everything. That first sunlight that hits you, so that really helps. So I think our listeners can also follow some of these techniques. And yeah, I have no choice but to wake up at 5 a.m. because it's my 5 times a day prayer time, and
Mm.
one of the time is 5 a.m. in the morning. And it is no Sunday or Friday. I have to do it every day.
Yep.
So interestingly, it has become a habit that opens up the day for me, and I have more hours of the day to do what I love. So
Yeah.
that really helps.
Built-in routines and spirituality too is such a key part of that.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll add one final thing that in starting, because we get all excited when we start a year, but something I learned from James Clear that I started with a meditation process. He calls it the 2 minute rule. And it's simply doing something for 2 minutes just to start getting the mindset. And that's how I started my meditation. I struggled for years trying to meditate, and I started with 2 minutes, and I did it for a period of time. And now I consistently, pretty much every day, do a 20-minute meditation. But I really encourage people when you're trying something new, it's challenging, is even, whether it's exercise, maybe it's just going out for a 2 minute walk or just sit quietly for 2 minutes. But whatever it is, just get started and start small. And then, I believe me, when it starts becoming who you are, you'll start making it what I call a non-negotiable, and that's really powerful.
Yeah. And I just encourage everybody to, instead of just thinking of resolutions this year, why not think of the traffic light? Why not think of things that you can stop, things that you can continue, and things you can start? Or maybe even more powerful. I know it's tempting to write yourself a whole laundry list because there's lots of things we want to start and stop in our lives, but just force yourself to pick one, like Coach Renuma and I are doing, because sometimes being able to stick to one is so much more powerful than trying to fix your whole life. So that's ours, and we'd love to hear yours too. What you're gonna stop, start, and continue this year here on the Limitless Leadership Lounge. Thank you for checking out this episode. Happy New Year to you, and we'll catch you right back here in 2026 for another guest, another tri-generational conversation for you, the emerging leader.